What's up, everyone? This is Soul with another video, and today I'm going to take you through the Horrific Vision of Orgrimmar. This is considered a basic or kind of a, well, it's more like an intermediate guide that asks that you have at least some familiarity with how visions work and what they do, or that you've at least been trying them out and you're not getting very far and it's like, oh man, what do I do? So I'm here to take you through the route, mobs to look out for, how the sections go, and what have you. Here I'm using a Frost Mage with an animal of 626, which is actually enough to get through. I was very surprised at how easily I was able to defeat mobs and get through everything. But this isn't meant to be a sort of flex. It's just a way to help me give a better example of what it is that we'll be dealing with. Now, with all that said, there is a lot of hidden power under the hood. Like, for example, I have these vision upgrades that I have powered through. You should probably be at least familiar with these. As you farm up corrupted mementos, you're able to buy these little token currencies and then apply these to the tree here. I have it put into throughput and defense on the left side, as well as sanity defense that help me last longer inside the vision. Now, I'm going to go inside and I'll show you where the grinding really happened. Now, the grinding, it's pretty beneficial. If you have the time to power up these tributes, it's a huge favor to yourself. So everything I have is maxed out. The thing to really pay the most attention to is the tribute of elite extermination. This lets me restore sanity every time I defeat an elite mob, which is very, very good when we're trying to complete the entire vision. Everything else helps a little bit too. Clear sight, that helps me see treasures. That's not really that big of a deal. Destabilization and Vision Hunter, this is basically more speed as well as more damage and throughput throughout the entire thing. So we're gonna go right in, and I should have you should be able to use the navigation below to get to the section where you want to go, and we'll be starting right in the juicy center. Ooh. So this isn't going to be a short guide. I'm going to try my best to describe the mobs, at least the ones that are threatening, the ones to definitely pay attention to. So let me make sure I pop stuff and not get myself killed. All right, so Voidbound Shaman are the really dangerous mobs in Visions. They happen to spawn a totem that sucks you in, and it's awful. It's very bad. I want to see if I can get it to actually fire off really quick, but otherwise it just does a basic cast that you just need to live through. But otherwise, if you happen to be close, or if you happen to well, I guess I'll just go ahead and kill this thing right now. There are other shaman around here that might be able to spawn a totem, but it is considered a high priority target. So there it is. This is the endless hunger totem that will continuously pulse and then pull you in, and it'll stay like that pretty much forever. So yeah, it's pretty bad news if you happen to get caught in it, because it's pretty hard to get out. So you just want to target it and make sure that it's defeated. A lot of these other mobs, I'm not going to really mention, they're pretty forgettable. Up here, up ahead, right at the gate here, those are the two guards that are guarding Thrall. And so we're going to kind of go through how to take care of these two guys. They do two major attacks. One is kind of a short-range frontal cleave. The more dangerous ability is a horrifying shout that has pretty wide range and does not mess around, especially if you happen to be pulling multiple mobs at the same time. So there's the shout right there, and there's me being horrified from about 15 yards away. So you want to try to not let them close in too much. I'll just try to get away a little bit. But they're dead. Now, as you can see, even at an item level as low as this, I'm able to almost kind of one shot, kind of two shot these mobs, which is great. If this is your first time going through ever, my recommendation would be to clear one section at a time. By clearing one section at a time, you're going to give yourself a very powerful buff that's going to let you survive a lot longer. It's shown right here, Steeled Mind. So you can see that it says it reduces my sanity drain by a total of 80%. That actually started at 50. I'm sorry, it started at 30% earlier. You can see the base reduction there. And that extra 50% comes from me having cleared the entire vision. So you can clear one area at a time to increase that buff by 10% each. So you can just do one area and then leave, and then come back and do another area, leave, come back, that sort of thing. Nice and easy. It's the cool thing about visions being super accessible, and there's no need for farming for keys or anything crazy like that. So we're going off to this left side first. We're gonna go to the Valley of Spirits, and this guy is guarding the way. Now, just so you know, in case I kill him too fast, this Decimator dude, he does a charge that deals damage and knocks you back by a little bit. Oop. And he does that. He does a kind of a boomerang attack that won't really do any damage on the way in, but as it comes back, you see it gets bigger, and then it will deal sanity damage. So you want to be careful of that. So I'm just gonna try to knock him out real quick, and that's all that happens in that pattern. He just does a charge, followed by the bullet. Bullet comes back. He charges again with a couple of melee swings in between. But as you see, he goes down pretty quick with only a few globals. It's not so bad. So Zakan and us, or we're going to be heading in. And let's see, Tormentors are something to keep an eye out for. Tormentors do a very kind of dangerous cast. If you leave them alone, the damage ramps up by quite a bit. Berserkers, they're standard kind of like melee dudes. They do like a whirlwind attack. Let's see if he does it. You want to do it, buddy? You want to show off? Nope, I guess not. So while we're in here, we deal within a fix. This week it happens to be Entomophobia. Your screen is going to show like bugs on it, and you just need to jump every now and then to make it go away. So it's pretty easy to handle, but it's also very, very easy to forget. So you want to be very careful of that. So let's take out this mob real quick. So there's the mental assault that comes from the Tormentor, and the Greater Void Elemental. You saw it pulled off a cast called Void Buffet that makes me take double the shadow damage. So basically, you just want to you probably want to go for the Tormentor first because that's the softer target. But if you can, try to lock down that elemental, prevent him from casting. It's gonna help you out in the long run. These Will Breakers are what I call just kind of swirl melee mobs, kind of like the Berserkers. You just need to stay away from their swirlies. And down they go. No problem. And they're doing some funny stuff back there. Well, no big deal. We'll just click on Totem so we can proceed to the next part of this area. So there's a Shaman right over there. I'm just going to wait for cooldowns because it's pretty relaxed. Going through this version. I'm just going to take out the Shaman, make sure that thing goes down. I'll try to make sure I get the rest of these out. Cool. Click the totem, and we'll continue progressing. So far, not so bad. So now we got a Berserker, 2 Berserkers, and a Tormentor. I'm going to go for the Tormentor first. Nuke him hard. And then this Berserker, I'll just kind of like take it to the face for a little bit. No big deal. Down he goes, and we click. So now we're progressing to that boss over there, but we got 2 dudes in the way. One of them is the Void Elemental that does the debuff, that shadow damage debuff. And then the Will Breaker is kind of the one to pay a bit more attention to because this one does some heavy melee attacks, especially at very high levels. So just kind of pay attention to it, be aware of it, don't forget it. And also don't forget to jump. Very important. So this is a mini boss. This Oblivion Elemental, just kind of waves are going to appear. You just don't want to touch the waves. But every now and then at certain HP levels, the Oblivion Elemental is going to kind of suck out your soul. It's going to bring out this light that you need to run into in order to get out of the mechanic. Because while before you grab it, you're put in this kind of pacified state. So, let me just go ahead and show you. So I'll fire off with this. Fire for a few attacks. So hopelessness is the move. So now you see I'm silenced until I walk onto this, and then I can resume attacking again. So you can see like the layering of mechanics here. There's it's like, oh man, I gotta dodge these things. And every now and then that hopelessness is going to cast. Now only a few times. Twice, I believe. So if you leave it alone, you can just kind of wait and keep dodging things and wait until you get out of this. But of course, your sanity is kind of ticking down too. So you want to be aware of that. But in this case, we have plenty of buffs to help us out. So like I said, you can't underestimate the ability or the power of the tributes. Putting some time into those will get you a lot of sanity return as we go. And now we can proceed to the lost area, the tougher area, on this left side of Orgrimmar. We'll just kind of go down this path here. And now we're met with kind of the intro. So there's that shadow caller as well as this mechanic, split personality. So this mechanic makes it so that these, those little clones will spawn around you and you just don't want to touch them. Of course, that can be pretty problematic if you happen to be dealing with multiple things at the same time. So every now and then you just need to stop and then carefully navigate your way through, either find an opening, or sometimes you'll be able to find, you'll be able to kind of squeeze through the middle there. But it's kind of dangerous. In fact, it's very dangerous. I almost advise, not doing that. All right, so I'm gonna hit this guy kind of. Actually, I should stop. So this guy, this Hulk dude, what he does, he throws me, as you're going to see in just a moment. Okay, actually, he didn't do it. And then he does a stomp. So that's all he does. And he does a howl that will silence you if you happen to be cast at the time. Oh, so there we go. So that's the throw. So, and then that's a stomp that you want to try to avoid. So while it's not so bad, it can be very, very dangerous at higher levels. And it's a big, it's a big eater of sanity if you happen to get caught in it. For the most part, though, just kind of unloading will be more than enough to deal with all the mechanics there. So there's me getting caught by stuff. Whoops. So these appendages are very annoying. They'll constantly appear and reappear elsewhere, making it very, very frustrating to target them and keep them down. You might find yourself completing an entire pack of dudes, but unfortunately the appendage is still up. So this Willbreaker, this is a familiar mob. We saw this just earlier in the earlier section, so we'll wipe that guy out. The Shadow Caller is kind of a similar mob. He just does more shadowy attacks. The Willbreaker does more physical attacks. But in any case, just a little bit of violence will be more than enough to take care of him. And now we can proceed over to the next mini boss. In this area, I tend to want to go for the Dominator, or for this path here on the right side, just for safety. The Dominator does a very, very dangerous channeled stun if you let it go off. So that's why I wanted to be kind of careful to make sure to kill it, just in case I might accidentally pull it, and then it will do all sorts of nasty attacks. The Shadow Caller, okay, these are all familiar guys surrounded by corruptions, which don't really do anything. So I'm just gonna take these guys out really quick. There's not too much going on. And so far, I'm still pretty good on sanity, but I'm going to go ahead and use an orb here. Now, orbs are good for one thing, sanity, but also you can kind of line yourself up. So let's say I used a bunch of cooldowns, and I'm waiting for my cooldowns to come up, but my sanity might be a little bit low. What I can do is wait a little bit longer, so that way my cooldowns are closer to being off cooldown, and then use the sanity orb. That way, I can get back into the fight, and I won't have wasted any time, and I'll have all my cooldowns up, and I'll be able to, explode on these bosses. Although this is only a mini boss. Let's go ahead and fire off some abilities. This coagulated horde does two things. It does that volley over there, and then it does a bigger spit of sorts, which is that right there. Now, what's dangerous is that you got to deal with both the volley. Oh, it died already. Sorry. Sometimes you have to deal with the volley as well as the split personality. So sometimes you might catch yourself in a really tight spot where you need to respond very quickly. It might feel very RNG if you happen to be put into a bad spot, and that's kind of sort of how it goes. Now here's the big boss of this area. This is Vizak. He does a lot of things. He summons orbs around him that shoot out. He does a big kind of laser frontal of sorts. He also summons ads, and the ads, they'll attack you, but they'll also explode when they die. And all of these attacks, they will do heavy sanity damage if you happen to get caught up in them. So he stays in that position. And unfortunately, you have to stay pretty close to him most of the time. That way you're able to get your attacks in, especially for melee. But if you're ranged, you can kind of stand apart, but the boss is going to be trying to move towards you as well. And then he'll spawn those giant orbs, which you're going to see in just a moment. And hopefully I'll be able to survive as I demonstrate this for you. So I'll just open up with a few moves. So I'll kick off with a laser, and then he'll summon ads shortly, I hope. unless the pattern changed. Pattern changes a little bit. So here we have those orbs that I'm talking about. You just don't want to get in those. And then here are the ads. So they come out in the form of these swirls here. And you just want to make sure that they're not close to you when they're killed. And all these things happen at once. So there you see me getting caught by the orb. Bad news. Then there's a laser. So it's a lot going on at the same time. And it can feel really, really overwhelming at first. But then you see like he's like dying so fast as well. So a lot of, in many cases here in Horrific Visions, violence is the answer. You can just kind of go nuts and hopefully not have to deal with as much, as many mechanics. So we're going to click on this totem here to get out. And off we go back to the start, because now we've cleared this section here. This is the first area, and we've cleared this section just now. Now we're going to proceed over to the right and to the next section. So here we are, kind of starting at the very beginning again. And we're going to make our way all the way up there. Not every mob is necessary to kill. It's not a big deal. Like if you happen to be farming for mementos, your best bet really would be to just keep clearing visions, keep killing bosses. Those are what gets you like the really big money. The other things, little treasures and whatnot, not nearly as big of a deal. I should talk, I would talk about the potions, but I think I'd rather stress to you folks at home to work on the tributes instead. They're such a big benefit to you that eventually you just don't really have to worry about looking around for the for those potions. Sorry, so I started to like already progress through. So I took out that tentacle because, as always, they're very annoying. This boss can be very annoying too. What he does a sequence of laying down kind of like this forward-moving series of swirls that explode, and they do tremendous sanity damage. He also does like a big beam that pushes you back, where if you stay in it, you'll eventually take a lot of sanity damage, but the big one is the swirls, and they come in a certain pattern. So let me show you how it works. So I'll fire off a little bit. He very shortly after entering combat, you see those swirls going, followed by the laser. Now he's going to do another set of swirls again, and they move forward. They happen to not move. So he does it twice. So here's the second time he does it, followed by the laser. I kind of made that look a little funny, so we'll just watch again. So there's orb number 1, and then you're going to see orb number 2. There it is, and then quickly followed by the laser. So you just need to just be very wary of that pattern, because it's a big set of swirlies, and this area is very thin. You can try to drag them elsewhere, to drag them to a more open area, but that can be a little bit dangerous too, because you might get caught in that giant laser. So let's talk to Garona, and then we'll be able to proceed a little bit further. A lot of these things you can see right here in the minimap. There are objectives. I'm just kind of glossing over them, but as you gain experience, you'll get used to how the flow goes. So here's that Dominator over there again. He's the priority target. We'll go for that one. Down he goes. The rest of these other two are just kind of like little melee scrubs. Not really a big deal. You just need to make sure you're not standing in the way of their stuff. And of course, violence. Swords to Circlet has been pretty cool in here, by the way. Okay, so now next pack, we're going to go for the appendage first, because like I said, tentacles are like bad forever. So I'm just going to wait for my flare to come off cooldown, because I don't know how to play my class at all. And let's take on these other guys. These guys are small fry, so no big deal. We'll just do like basic casts, no problem. All right, so let me take care of helping out fellow citizens. Yeah, just a quick little kind of RP-ish event with a dude to defeat down here. Let's make short work of him. Cool. All right, so now we can proceed a little bit further, keep trying to find and help people. And then this next pack here, we see we have a Dominator right in that pack, so we're going to go right for that guy. Down he goes, and these guys, the Mind Carver, you know, he does the casts. Want to be a little bit careful of that, but you know, not a big deal. And now we can progress and take care of the rest of these other objectives here. And we're just trying to help people out. There you go, buddies. All right, get out of here. And now we're going to deal with the boss of this lower area. Now this guy does this kind of like kind of void bullets, and you can evade the bullets by hiding behind this tree. The cool thing is that we can also still attack while we're behind here. He has to obey line of sight. We do not. But also he'll end up running towards us and, you know, try and get into melee range and try to go around. So just be aware of that. He'll also project the shield, and we need to break the shield. Otherwise, then it'll do sanity damage. So what you probably want to do is start off like a little bit light. I'll just start off with like a little tap. Like, there we go. So I can just let him like do his attacks, and we can make an example of it. So the Void Torrent, we should be able to just hide behind here. So you can see like the tree is blocking the way, although he's sort of standing on it, which is really scary. And then now, so here's the Cries of the Void. So that we need to break, which we're able to do quite easily because we're doing way too much damage for our for the difficulty here. And that's it. That's kind of the pattern. So we'll just go ahead and finish this guy off. He does one more shield phase sort of thing, but we'll be able to break it very, very easily. And down he goes. So as you can see, I'm still at half sanity. You know, I can use orbs whenever I needed to. The one that I did use, it wasn't even important to use anyway. But you can easily find yourself overperforming, but also be overconfident too. You know, if you care to do higher level visions, you can find yourself getting caught very easily in like really bad stuff. So here we are in the Lost area. We're dealing with split personality again, and Misha is in our way. Misha will afflict you with a disease that will make you poop out green stuff, and you just don't want to stand in it. But if you can cleanse diseases off of yourself, then great. You can just cancel out that mechanic. That follows up with a roar, and this is all happening on top of split personality. So we'll go ahead and open up. Let him do his thing. So here's the desperate retching. So you can see I have a debuff, and now I'm pooping stuff. And then there is the roar happening. So this is all happening while split personality is happening as well. So you want to be pretty careful of this if it happens. So here it is. I'm going to kind of sneak through, or I guess I could blink if I wanted to. I'm afflicted with a disease again, but also, you know, I'm still kind of in a good spot. The disease does do damage, but the worst thing is that it leaves poop on the ground, and you want to be aware that the poop on the ground will deal some pretty significant sanity damage on you. After that, Misha dies. She spawns those scared-looking things, very scary. And now we can progress a little bit. So this Bone Crusher does I believe it does a stun and as well as a knockback. So if it gets into melee range, it'll knock you back, which can be very bad because of the split personality stuff. Or if you happen to be positioning yourself in a weird spot and then you get knocked in, you know, off of a platform or into that void looking stuff there. So there's what I want to try to do here is do a little bit of a skip here. I'm not really going to be skipping much, unfortunately. I'm just basically just kind of skipping a pack that's over there. And for the most part, I can just kind of be here and try to grab that swarm leader over there. So this guy just kind of helps to manage the other smaller ads. Once it goes down, then the rest are like not really that big of a deal. Now, sometimes you might be in a position where you can do a skip. So this area can actually open up depending on your circumstances. I'm not too knowledgeable about what those circumstances are, to be honest. But what you can do is just kind of like ride along here, go up, and you can climb that little slope there and just bypass this mini boss person here. So pretty easy. I can't do that here, unfortunately. So instead, I'm just going to pop an orb. And depending on how you're doing this, it might be a good idea for you to clear this entire area. This boss, or this mini boss, is pretty sturdy, and he does like some pretty nasty attacks. So I'm gonna take out, I'm gonna go ahead and take out this Venom Weaver person over here. So these apply some pretty nasty debuffs if you let them get close. So you want to try and not let them get too close to you. Otherwise, you might get afflicted with this poison. If you can cleanse poison, though, ooh, that's good. Very, very good. Also, in this particular area, if you stand next to corpses, it'll spawn an ad. So like each of these, they'll spawn like little ads. So you want to try to avoid it. So in this case, we'll try to go along this area here if we need to do a little bit of kiting. But of course, there's like all that stuff back there that I didn't deal with. So we'll see how it goes. We'll open up a little. So you want to kind of be on the move a lot for this guy. He does a volley. He does the spray that you just saw, and if you get caught up in it, he also includes a charge, and that will pretty much like finish you off. So this is the kind of mini boss that you just really want to try to finish off quickly, because otherwise you might get caught up in stuff, and you'll get into like a lot of trouble really fast. So even I was getting into trouble, even though I kind of overgear the spot. But it's still scary. I'd say if you can skip it, if you can skip that guy, do it. But but unfortunately, being in this area, it deals a lot of damage. I think it deals percentage damage to you. You can't bubble it. You can't. There's not a whole lot you can do to get through it, unless you're like a demon hunter and you can like zoom through it really fast. There's one more bone crusher here. This one also does a knockback, but there's also the swarm leader. So I'm going to go for probably the swarm leader first. Take him out so that way the other swarmers like aren't as dangerous. But I'll go for the bone crusher. So you saw that headbutt that I just did. That is a pretty dangerous knockback, as I said. But down he goes, and we can progress to Rexxar. Just make sure you watch the scarabs around here. Like I said, they can activate a pretty nasty poison. So how we doing? Huh? I know this is pretty long, so hope you can bear with me. So now we got to deal with Rexxar. So at certain percentage thresholds, he's going to summon one boar and then another boar and then two more at around, kind of close to 50%. And that's when we want to kind of like pop cooldowns. The boars, they all cast an attack that will deal direct sanity damage. And so very bad. Rexxar in the meantime doesn't really do anything. He just kind of like melees him. So what you want to do is just kind of control the fight by only summoning as much as you feel like you can handle. That way, you don't feel like you're in danger. So I only have one orb left, so I'm going to try and take this guy out, but not take him out too fast, if that's a thing. So let's go and give it a shot. So I should have one spawn shortly, I think. So here's one. So it does like a little bit of a knockback, so you want to be very careful of your movement. So what I'm doing, I'm kind of like saving my cooldowns. I'm just kind of like doing steady damage, but then as these guys come out, then I'll like kind of go big. So, oh boy, oh no. Yep, so like I said, this fight can be quite dangerous if if you're not careful. So we're gonna try doing this again. All right, and he's about to pop all of his guys out at once. And I'm just going to try and defeat him before I'm killed. Right? Easy. So as for other parts that happen throughout this fight, as soon as all the boars are dead, what the boss is going to do is summon little Shaw dudes from around the room. And then dealing with that along with split personality can be very troublesome. He also has traps that he throws down that you don't want to get caught up in either. So this boss is pretty exceptional in that he is very he is very HP unfriendly. Like he will just like wail on you if you're not careful. But there are also some really, really ridiculous sanity draining attacks if you happen to get caught up in it. But whatever the case, in what is actually a second run through to make this guide for you guys, we finished all the bosses and we're going to go take on Thrall. Yay. Should be totally easy. Unless I screw up again, then, you know, it's all bad. So we'll get some HP back. Everything else is pretty much cleared up, and we are good to go. Ignore that I have 3 sanity orbs back again. I'm just going to pop one as soon as we get in anyway, because I want to describe what's going on. So Thrall has 2 major abilities of his own. One is a forward shockwave. The other is he'll jump in the middle of the room, and he'll light up either this center area or the outer area with void stuff, and you don't want to be standing in that during that sequence. All the other abilities overlap, and he also has boss abilities. So as you can see, he has 2 boards with him that I want to take out immediately because it's very dangerous. He also has a shield that I need to break. He also throws out the little light ball that pacifies me, and I need to run in for it. So, you know, kind of a lot going on, but it's not something that we should, you know, have too much trouble handling. So let's go, and I'm just going to unload and, you know, mostly focus on popping the boars. He kicks off doing the his shockwave kind of early on. So I'm going to try to keep my HP up so we can get an example of the abilities that happen. So here's the thing where you got to stay in the middle and then go out while the defiled ground, while his shockwave's going out. So here's the shield that I'm just going to pop it real quick, I hope. There you go. So we'll try to go through like one more volley. So there's the shockwave again. Here is the pacify. So let's just run into this really quick. And now we have this ability going on too. So now I want to stay inside, then I want to move out. Sometimes it might go in a different order too. And let's finish him off. Ta-da. So kind of messy coming from me not really knowing how to play my Frost Mage at all, but you know, not so bad. And that pretty much wraps it up. All 5 bosses dead. Rewards to get, such as maybe your first mask, and then you can start progressing into some of the harder stuff, as well as getting the many rewards that come out from visions, like the mounts and all the other cool stuff. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I hope that this was paced well enough that it's able to answer most of your questions. But of course, if you have other questions like with the potions and whatnot, please feel free, and I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my ability. Please like the video, subscribe for more stuff, and I'll catch you for the next thing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.